North Carolina is off to a 6-1 start and in control of the ACC Coastal, but there's always plenty to be working on. Just what have the Tar Heels been up to in their off week? We'll find out today as starting cornerback Tony Grimes joins the show.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, it's Monday, October 24th, 2022. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shade, and I want to thank you for making our show your first listen or your first watch every single day. Please don't forget that we're free and available anywhere you get podcasts, so you can subscribe right now to make sure you don't miss a second of your team every day. This episode of Locked On Tar Heels is brought to you by Sling TV. Don't miss this weekend's upcoming matchup between the Tar Heels and Pittsburgh on the ACC network right there on Sling. The TV you love for the price you love. Try it today. It is great to be joined on Locked On Tar Heels today by North Carolina junior cornerback, Mr. Tony Grimes. Tony, thank you so much for being here. Today's interview with Tony is brought to you by Heels for Life, the collective supporting UNC football. And Tony, man, we got to start. It's so nice we're doing this on an off weekend. How nice is it to have two off weekends in the same season?
It's amazing. It's definitely amazing. Bodies need it. The players, we need it. We've been grinding all season, grinding all spring, grinding all fall. So just to have this little rest on our body helps. Mack's a smart man because he knew what he was doing, having us with them first three games, then throughout the season and the 2 bye weeks. So, yeah, you know what he was doing for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to have all those non-conference games to get the season up and rolling, especially with a young quarterback in Drake getting his feet up under him, allowing you guys as a defense to figure more things out. And so we'll talk about what's upcoming after that second bye week later on in the show. But I got to start off with a heavy-hitting question for you, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Coach Bly recently tweeted that you could leave him one-on-one with Josh Downs and there would be no issues. Where are you at on that? Coach Bly and Josh Downs going one-on-one. Who wins that battle?
One is going to be a battle, but I'm going to say I'm going to win more opportunities just because that's how competitive a player I am. You know, like Josh, man, that's a freak of nature right there. Like I haven't seen no receiver do what he can do, especially like with his height. Like, cause he's the smallest guy on the field, but he don't play like the smallest guy on the field. So he just out of making big time plays, big boy plays, and I love it. So Josh something special. That's my dude.
Man, yes, it's crazy. So the Tar Heels, Tony, you guys are 6-1 already, bowl eligible. You're in great position in the ACC. What's been working so well for the team so far this season, both the team as a whole and you guys as a defensive unit?
I say the team as a whole is we fight. We fight. I want to say last year we didn't fight as how we wanted to fight last year. Some games was close and we just gave in and gave up type. But this year, man, everybody fighting. We got them dogs. When something go bad and something goes wrong, we don't get discouraged. We just go back. We regroup. We take our L's on the chin during the game and just go back at it.
Yes, absolutely. Like, here's a great example of that. Last season, no road victories. Like, I think you guys were 0-5 on the road. And then this year, starting off 4-0 on the road, all of which are by one possession. What is it that you guys have been able to do to kind of flip that and go take somebody's cookies in their own place?
Man, we get just Mack Brown just letting us know just every week, like, we got to win road games. Because we was bad last year at road games, like you said, we got to win road games. In order to win a conference, you got to win your road games. So that's what we're doing good so far. We're in our road games. Just we know what it takes. Like this is not a young team anymore. Like we know what it takes. So we can go out there and we're gonna put on a show every time.
Yes, absolutely. And what's really interesting about all those road games is all 4 of those victories have been by just one possession. For you, right? For you as a cornerback, sometimes out there on an island and Storm on the other side, how stressful can that be knowing, listen, one game-breaking play right here could flip the script and get the home team back in the winning column?
We just gotta stay locked in, like just us as the whole secondary, because knowing like, okay, the offense finna throw the ball. The last couple games, the defense, the secondary made a pick to win the game. So we just all lock in, like the ball gotta be in the air now, and whoever makes this play, game could be over. So somebody gotta make the play. So that's what we do. We make the play at the end of the game, but we just gotta stay locked in. We know like ball gotta come our way. So yeah.
And that's a great point, Tony, because I know the defense has taken some heat early this season, giving up like the 61 points to App State and those kind of things. But as you just referenced, man, there was the only 10 points to Virginia Tech, and then game-sealing interceptions against both Miami and then Duke last week. DeAndre in the Miami game and Will last week against Duke. And so you talked about just a minute ago, you take those L's sometimes, all right? That's just the nature of being in the secondary, but then you just put your head right back into it, short-term memory, and get going. What does it say about the resilience of your defensive unit that despite some of the issues and struggles, man, when it was really counting, you guys are making the plays to get on the bus and go home with the W?
What I like to say is that we going home, like we know the defense hasn't been showing out at all times throughout the game. But what we take and what we're blessed with is that we got a dub after, the performance of the defense. So what we got to do and what we do, we just go back every week and we try to get better. We go back in the lab, we fix it, and we get ready for the next game. But if we play together as one every time, man, it'd be a scary sight. It's just that a few missing plays, a few missing assignments that get them there or get them here. But really, if we just lock in, it's going to be a scary sight on what we can do.
That's right. And we've still got 5 games ahead in this season to see how that all plays out. Now, Tony, a question I've got that I feel like maybe a lot of people who aren't out there doing it don't understand. Just how hard is it to stop modern offenses with everything they're doing?
It's crazy. That's why we put so much that's why Mack put so much pressure on our coaches. Really. Coaches got to scheme them a game. Coaches got to put us in the right spot, and we got to make the plays. We got to do our fundamental techniques. So we, as a defense, we trust the coaches on what they do, how they're gonna scheme up, how they gonna prepare us, and we just go out and play. But it's very difficult, especially you got like a speed quarterback that can get out the pocket. They got more like RPO games, the play action, double passes, straight plays. So yeah, it's a lot for sure.
Absolutely. And this year, part of that for you is that you guys have switched from Coach Bateman now to Coach Chizik. How difficult is it to switch defensive coordinators? And then especially are there different techniques things that you're being asked to do or different coverage styles?
No, yeah, 110%. I want to say when Bateman was here, Bateman was an amazing coach. When he was here, he really just had us press a lot, had us press a lot, man cover and stuff like that. But when Chiz is helping us learn defense more, schemes, dropping the zone, playing a little man, knowing where your help is. So I want to say Chizik taught me as well as some other players on the defense more just about football, more about the scheme of football, how to run things, how to play this coverage with this formation and stuff like that. So I want to say having Chiz really helped improve my game. For sure, improve everybody game on defense. Honestly, just helping with IQ wise.
Yeah, man, that's very. And then speaking about going back to the Duke game from last week, there was a play. I think it was late in the third quarter. You'd had this great break on the ball laid out, and I was like, "Oh, Tony is about to get this pick here," and just couldn't quite haul it in. What's going through your brain on that play?
What's going through my brain is, man, you got to make that play. If you make that play, that's a game changer right there.
Yeah.
During the play, we're playing cover four, take my eyes to the quarterback, read the quick game. As soon as I see him look at number 2 and I see it to a flat, I'm like, oh, he's going to throw this ball. So I jumped it. If I would have jumped it a little more, we would have been to the crib celebrating. But
man,
yeah.
And thankfully, as we already talked about, things played out in the end. And even on that drive, I think if I remember correctly, Ced Gray, that was third down. Gray, or second down, Ced Gray had a stop on third right after that. And then Duke went for it on fourth down, and you guys stopped him, the second turnover on downs of the day. Speaking of Cedric Gray, he is 5th in the nation in total tackles, leads all Power 5, like all the Power 5 conferences. He's number 1 in tackles. Power Echols is 16th in the nation in tackles. What is it that the linebacking room is doing so well this season?
I'm gonna be honest. The linebacker put this defense together, really. And, like, the D-line for sure. Like, the D-line hard. Like our D-line is what runs it. But the linebackers, they put us together. Like, they make sure we level-headed, we straight. They make sure we hype when we go back on that field. They just keep everything together. Like, those just tone setters is the linebackers, Power and said.
Yeah, man, that's so good. Love it. And what I want to do is then look ahead to next week against Pittsburgh, right after I tell you a little bit about Nissan. This week's thrilling moment in college football is brought to you by Nissan. The thrilling designs behind the new lineup from Nissan are intended to empower drivers in vehicles as capable as the driver themselves. And when I think of unbelievable abilities on the football field, for this week's thrilling moment, it has to be the 2 game-sealing picks the Tar Heels have had in their last 2 games against Miami and Duke. Against the Hurricanes, it was DeAndre Boykins coming up with the game-sealing interception. And then against Duke, Noah Taylor got a tip at the line, and Will Hardy was the one that came up with the pick. Both games hung in the balance prior to that, but the defense came up huge to help secure the victory. This segment has been inspired by the thrilling new designs featured across Nissan's new lineup of vehicles. Pursue what thrills you in the all-new Frontier, Armada, or Pathfinder today. Available now at NissanUSA.com. Once again, we are joined today on Locked On Tar Heels by North Carolina junior cornerback Mr. Tony Grimes, number 1 in your playbook and in your hearts. You love to see it. And for your second listen today, let me remind you to listen to Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. So, Tony, in preparation for the Pittsburgh game and the final 4 remaining regular season games after that, what all have you guys been working on in the off week?
We've just been working on Pitt. While we can, we just like to get ahead on our next opponent. So having this bye week and having the next week to get ahead on Pitt is amazing. We watched Pitt play against Louisville, which helped us see what kind of stuff they do. They got some players that's back as well. So this just gave us a chance to get, prepared for Pitt, just an extra couple of days in Pitt.
Absolutely. And man, unfortunately for Pitt, very thankfully for North Carolina, Pitt lost last night, on Saturday. And Miami also went down. And then Georgia Tech lost on Thursday. So now you guys actually have a 2-game lead in the loss column in the Coastal Division. But I know that you don't want to just be like, all right, cool, we're good, right? So how do you keep just taking it 1 game at a time, even though you've got a good little padding there in the division standings?
Like you said, just taking 1 game at a time. Every week we try to go 1-0, and we got to have that hunger because we got a lot of proof last year, especially when Pitt beat us last year. So we got to chip on our shoulder for sure. But yeah, every week we got to go 1-0. We don't like the feeling that we had last year, and at any moment just can't go back to the feeling that we had last year. So we just got to keep going. We got to keep pushing every week.
That's right, man. That Pitt game was so close last year. As you said earlier, man, just a couple plays here and there can really turn the tide. You guys have been making those plays this season, and hopefully we'll be able to do that against Pitt this coming Saturday night. Yes, now, the secondary, a good news for the secondary is pretty soon Jaquarius Conley is going to come back. What does that mean for you guys in the secondary, and how are you feeling about getting him back in the fold?
That puts an extra dog in the secondary for sure. Having JQ come back, one is going to raise the level of competition, which is amazing. Every time when you have somebody come back and raise the level of competition, the new skills show, just that that hunger show. But having him back is exciting, and he's a playmaker, and we missed him on that field. And when he's on that field, you're gonna notice him, like you notice Shakori. So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So true. Man, so we are, Tony, just a little bit over halfway through this 2022 football season. And
Mhm.
you guys have just, as a secondary, have been making strides game after game after game. What is it that specifically the secondary is still trying to work on to really firm up as a unit?
Limit explosive plays. Limit explosive plays and tackle. But as a secondary, we got limit explosive plays. Like me, I think I gave up the last 2 games. I gave up a touchdown. So and then it's just me without giving them touchdowns. It's just the game's different. The games is literally different. So it's just limiting explosive plays, playing your technique, and knowing you the best guy on the field, knowing that we the best defense on the field, knowing that we the best team on the field. Just gonna take everything away. So yeah.
Yeah. What does it take to just get more specific with it? What does it take to limit explosive plays?
Just stay focused and locked in all game. Coaches put you in a great call, and you do your assignment, do your technique, do your job, and you straight for sure. I mean, it's gonna be plays here they make here and there,
Sure.
but we
Yep.
got to limit the explosive plays, the touchdowns, the 60-yard catches, the breakout runs. We stop that, and we straight for sure.
Yeah. Man, that's good. And you talked about the prep work you guys have already been doing for Pitt. When you watch Kedon Slovis on film, and I know he got banged up a little bit against Louisville this weekend, but what does Kedon Slovis do that you're going to have to be ready for as a secondary?
We just gonna have to play our game.
Hmm.
Honestly, that's what it come down to. Secondary, we play our game. We do what we've been practicing all week, and we take that confidence level and put it on the field. We're gonna be ready for everything. I mean, he's great. Don't get me wrong. He's phenomenal.
Sure, absolutely.
Man, our secondary, we phenomenal. We great too, for sure. For sure.
Part of what helps make you guys be so good is the defensive front that you talked about, and these guys like Kamen Rucker and Noah Taylor and everybody up front doing what they do. How does the pressure that they apply on a quarterback really help you do your job better?
Man, quarterbacks be fearful at our D line. Our D line is crazy. I feel like we got an SEC D line. That's what I'm gonna say is that we got an SEC D line. Like they're amazing. Like they're gonna get to that quarterback. They're gonna pass rush. They're gonna set them edges. They're gonna get in them gaps. I love our D line, man. They help us a lot, especially in the secondary. They can rush that quarterback, get the quarterback all scattered, and you throw that ball away. Somebody's gonna bound to come up with it.
That's right. And you love to see how that's going to continue to unfold as the season goes on. Part of that is, man, as you talked about earlier, there's so much talent on this defensive side of the ball, and there's a lot of young talent. What are you excited to see about some of the younger guys and what they're bringing to the team?
I'm just for the young guys. I'm just excited to see how they do next year because, like, I remember being that young guy, that freshman, and just having that extra year under your belt, just having that extra year. Okay, I played, I did this, like I know how I feel, or even this. Okay, I already had a fall camp. I know how a fall camp is. I already had a season. I know how this go. Just being confident. So I just can't wait to see next year and see what they bring. See that level of confidence go up. They get bigger, stronger, faster. They get more confident. So I just can't wait to see what they do next year, really.
Yeah, man, so good. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tony, thankfully, you don't have to go up. Other than in practice, you don't have to go up against Drake Maye and this explosive offensive unit that the Tar Heels have. You as a cornerback, how do you think you would try to attack Drake Maye and what he's doing?
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Drake's special. And then if you let Drake get hot, it's crazy. You can't let Drake get hot. Playing against Drake, I just gotta be confident in myself, really. Just be confident in my next receiver. Be like, all right, receiver I'm facing right now, he's not better than me. That's how I beat Drake. But Drake make plays, so we're gonna see how that thing gonna go.
Yeah. Sounds like it would be more about limiting him than actually stopping him. That's about all you can do with somebody like that.
Yeah, you gotta limit Drake. You can't stop Drake.
No, man, that's good. So I know we're looking one game at a time, but one more game I want to ask you about is at the end of the regular season, the day after Thanksgiving, another one of those really close games, man. That NC State game last year just felt like everything was going well, and then just in the end, weren't able to make the plays to win. For you, last year against NC State, career high 7 tackles. What are you looking forward to the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, hosting NC State there in Kenan Stadium to get a little bit of revenge from last year?
Man, I can't wait to play against State. And not just me. We got a couple players that felt that L last year. Can't wait to play against State. We got a chip on our shoulder, and we got some revenge for sure. I'm excited. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to play State. I hope they throw a lot. That's what I do. I hope they throw a lot for sure.
Tony is hunting picks on that. You hear it in everything he just said right there. Good. That'll be coming up the day after Thanksgiving. But before we get there, coming up this Saturday, Carolina hosts Pittsburgh under the lights for homecoming. Going to be an electric atmosphere. Folks, make sure you get out to Keenan for that one to support Tony and the guys. Tony himself was one of those young guys he just talked about just a few years ago. We want to ask him more about his background and his family and all of that. We're going to do it in just a minute, right after I tell you about SweatBlock. Pamela used to hide in the bathroom every 30 minutes or so to dry off her armpits so no one would notice the embarrassing wet circles forming under her arms. But thanks to SweatBlock, she finally has her life back. Why? Because Pamela was able to fix her problems with SweatBlock. SweatBlock gives you the confidence to wear what you want without embarrassing underarm sweat or odor. In fact, the SweatBlock wipes were recently featured and tested on the Rachel Ray Show by firefighters. If you or someone you love is experiencing embarrassing sweat or odor, try SweatBlock. Save 20% with promo code LOCKEDON at sweatblock.com. Also available on Amazon. We are joined today on Locked On Tar Heels by Mr. Tony Grimes, part of the secondary for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Great to have him on. So far, we've been talking about this season, but we want to backtrack a little bit and talk about just Tony the person. You see Tony on the field, but man, always want to remind you that these young men and these young women that you cheer for the Tar Heels are more than just athletes. They're human beings with a great life and all sorts of stuff going on. And so, Tony, you, as somebody growing up in Virginia, just tell us a little bit about your family and growing up.
I grew up with my mom, Cynthia, and my dad, Dion, but I call him Pops. Then I grew up with my twin, me and my twin name is Antino. So just me and him grew up together. We have a couple older brothers, but didn't grow up in same household together, like throughout high school and stuff like that. Just man, growing up been exciting. From Virginia Beach, Virginia. Went to Princeton High School. My high school was predominantly it was a lot of people in that high school. It was amazing. I learned a lot of things in high school, playing high school football, my teachers, and all that kind of stuff. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's good. And so you talked about your twin. Who's technically older?
He is. I'm the youngest in the family. I'm the baby born. So my mom, just me going off to college, my mom was, a little bit more emotional. I say that for sure. But yeah, I'm the baby in the family. So yeah.
And with you going off to college, and not only are you the baby leaving, but you left early. How hard is that on your mom to expect, like, oh, I got another year with my baby Tony, but then there you go off to Chapel Hill a year early?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was definitely hard for her, but she was more excited. She was more excited, like my baby's going to college, like he's going to college for free as well. So like she was excited. She all I had to do was take one more class, then I would be straight. So she helped me pick my online classes to take that class, and it was straight for that.
And so thankful for those parents in our lives and everything they do to help raise us and grow us. Now, for you came in not only as somebody who reclassified and came in a year early, but because of how high your ranking was, both as a cornerback and just nationally, like overall rankings. How much pressure did you feel to perform right away?
I want to say a lot of pressure. And just as an athlete coming out of high school, period, and just having a chance to go out here and actually play college football, it was definitely a lot of pressure. But I want to say it's good now just because I know how to handle the pressure, just time over time, you know how to handle pressure. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What influenced that decision for you to want to leave early and enroll after your junior season?
They canceled high school football in our area because of COVID. So I was like, instead of just sitting here just doing straight high school without like football or nothing like that, I was like, might as well just try to see if you can leave early. So I asked around, asked a couple schools. They said, yeah, they'll take me. And UNC was one of them. Just meeting Dre Bly, because Dre Bly's from our area. So
That's right.
Just having him on the staff, having Mack back is just crazy because I grew up watching Mack when he was here type. So,
Tony, I want to ask you about your teammates. I want to give you a category, and you tell me who you think would best fit this category. And I know there's a lot of guys on a football team, so it's hard to narrow it down, but we'll see what we can do. On the North Carolina Tar Heels football team, who would you say is the class clown?
I want to say Deuce the class clown. I want to say freshman, young, just came in. He just got this good sense of humor about him. He talks a lot, which is just love because a person that talk a lot just keeps the mood going in the locker room. But he's funny though, so I give that to him, Deuce.
Yes, and you see it played out in his sack celebration a couple of weeks ago. That was hilarious. Exactly. All right, Tony, who would you say is the best dressed?
Best dressed, I want to say Josh Downs. No. Best dressed, I say Josh Downs and Legend.
Okay.
On air time for sure. Yeah.
Yes, that would be Legend Cavazos, a great football cornerback transfer coming in from Ohio State this season. You love to see it. Who would you say is the biggest foodie on the team? He loves food.
Diego Brown. That's my guy though. But yeah, I'm going with Diego. Big Yayo.
Love it. All right, who is the biggest nerd or dork on the team?
Chris Holiday, Elijah Greene, Sebastian Cheeks. Them boys got their brains. They there with it. I had them brains like them, but they there with it for sure.
I love it. Biggest film junkie. Who is watching the most film?
I want to say Noah Taylor. I want to say Noah Taylor watches a lot of film. He actually inspired me to watch even more film than I watch now. And I watch a lot of film. So, yeah, Noah Taylor watches a lot of film. He's a film junkie for sure.
Man, interesting. All right, last one. Who is the most likely to be the president of the United States?
Chris Holiday. Christopher Holiday, most definitely. Corey Holiday's son, definitely.
Yeah. Man, that's great. Okay, thank you. There's some team superlatives courtesy of Mr. Tony Grimes. Tony, one of your answers there brought up another question for me. You talked about Noah Taylor being a huge film junkie. How helpful is it to have an upperclassman transfer in and really help set that tone of saying like, no, this is how we do it, and everybody come follow me in that way?
That's great. That's amazing. Having Noah Taylor here is definitely a changer. Like you can see it, and without having him, I think it'd be a little different. But having him join our team, you just see just the D line get better, just the linebackers get better, secondary get better, and we all just coming together. We're doing what he say, we're doing what other athletes say because we trust him, and he's proven to us that one, he's gonna go out, he's gonna make plays, he's gonna ball. Two, he's gonna try, he's gonna work hard. That's what he do. Three, he just a regular guy like us. He just like to have fun just when it's time to come down to business. This is time.
Yeah, man, that's great. So, Tony, man, it's hard to believe that this is now your third year in Chapel Hill. And when you think about being part of this university, what does it mean to you to be a Tar Heel?
Means to me to be a Tar Heel, man, is just I'm gonna say is lifelong. Once a Tar Heel, you're really always a Tar Heel. Just the connections after, just the brotherhood I built with the guys and stuff like that. So to be a Tar Heel, man, it's a forever thing for sure.
Tony, I know that as part of being Heels for Life, one of the things that you are asked to do is have a hometown charity that you support. What is that, and why is it important to you?
The charity I picked was Project Cold Case, and I want to say it's important to me because it helps open up cases that hasn't been solved yet, or like solve cases that hasn't been solved yet that needs to be solved. My grandmother was kidnapped before I was even born, so her case is still open. So I'm just helping them to help to see where my grandmother is, to see where she at and stuff like that.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Tony. Thank you for sharing that. And it's really interesting how something so personal to you can be something that you now support and use your platform as an athlete to shine a light on. So thank you very much for doing that.
Yes, sir.
Well, Tony, we want to thank you so much for joining us today on Locked on Tar Heels. Before we let you get out of here, where can folks find you out on social media?
Instagram, the Juice.Tone, Twitter, 757 Elite DB, and Snapchat, Tony got _juice.
I love it. We will be straight with that. Make sure you go give our guy Tony a follow. Mr. Grimes, best of luck to you and the team this weekend against Pitt and the rest of the season. Can't wait to see how things continue to play out for the Tar Heels.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's it for today's episode of Locked on Tar Heels. My thanks again to Tony Grimes for joining the show and to Heels for Life for helping set up the interview. Coming up this week, we've got an ACC basketball preview on Wednesday with myself and Coach Pat Kilby. And in a bonus double episode Wednesday, Eva Hodgson from Carolina Women's Basketball also joins the show for a great interview. She's fantastic. Make sure to check it out. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked on Heels, or you can follow me at Isaac Shade. Thanks for making Locked on Tar Heels your first listen. And for your next listen, make sure to check out Locked on Sports Today. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and of course, the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever else you get podcasts. Hey, thanks so much for making part of your Monday hanging out with me and with Tony talking Carolina football. It's been great. And I want to remind you that it is always a great day to be a Tar Heel. Until tomorrow, peace.